In this video, we're going to look at some basic functions and some conditional formatting. The name of the file that we're going to be using is called e0flavorpart1. So let's start off with the most basic of functions, the summation. We're going to come up into the cell B4, which stands for total items in stock. And what we want to do is to total this area right here, or auto sum it. I'm going to come back in here, click on the Home tab, Auto Sum, click on Sum. We need a range. I'm going to hold down my left mouse and drag the mouse down for the range that I'm summing. It's highlighted. And what this is telling me that I want to add, starting at cell A11, the colon denotes a range, all the way up to A65. Click on the check mark or hit enter. This would be my total. Next, I want to get the average price. Function that I would use, I come over to my auto sum, hit the down arrow, highlight average. I would then click in cell D11, which is the beginning of my range, hold down the left mouse and drag down to the end of my range. I want to average those numbers starting at D11 all the way up to D65. Hit the check mark. Next, for my median price, I'm going to start off in cell B6, come over to auto sum. Median is not listed, so I'm going to click on more functions and then type in here what function that I'm looking for. And I'm looking for the median function. Click on go. Median has been found. You can see here that it's highlighted. Hit OK. And what I'm going to do once again is define the range. So starting at D11, and I'm going to go all the way down to D65. So I want to find the median price starting at cell D11 all the way down to D65. Hit OK. That would be my median price. Next, we're going to find the lowest price within that same range, D11 to D65. The lowest means min or minimum. Come over here to my auto sum. Min, define the range. So I'm going to get my mouse, left click on D11, hold down that left mouse and drag all the way down once again to D65. Hit the check mark or hit enter. We have our lowest price. Next, we're going to look for the highest price, still within that same range, D11 to D65. Auto sum, max, starting at D11, so I'm holding down my left mouse and dragging all the way down to D65. Hit the check mark. We have our highest priced. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to move some data to a different spot in the spreadsheet. So we're going to start over here. We're going to highlight starting at A4 all the way down to B8. So we're going to highlight that, right click, cut. See, it's now highlighted. We're going to come over to cell D4, right click, and paste. You can see that that data has been moved from the spot over here over to the new location. We have these pound signs. We're going to come up here between column E and F where we have a cross. Quickly double left click so everything has been widened out. Double left click over here, and now the columns are wide enough to show all of the information. Next, I'm going to insert another row. So I'm going to highlight row 9 by clicking right onto 9. Everything is all highlighted for that entire row. Right click and insert, which gives me a new row. I'm going to now come into cell D9. Okay, my cursor once again is in cell D9, and I'm going to type in seasoning types. Tab. So my location is right here. The next function I'm going to use is called Countif. And what I want to do is use the Countif function to determine how many cases of seasoning underneath the category, how many cases of seasoning is in this column right here. How I go about that? I'm right over here. I can go into the f of x, click here, f of x, get my dialog box, and type in Countif. Click on go. When Countif is highlighted, click on OK. I'm going to define the range. So starting in cell G12, hold down my left mouse all the way down to the end, which is cell G66. So within that range, Countif means count the instances of this criteria. And what the criteria is, what I'm looking for is the word seasoning. So type in seasoning here. Click OK. We have 20 instances of the word seasoning. Now I'd want to change that format. I don't want it to show as accounting. So I'd click on the Home tab, click on the comma style. I wouldn't want that many decimal places. Right now it's showing 2 decimal places. So I'm going to come up here and decrease the decimal places. Click it once, click it twice. Okay, next we're going to look at the if function. Okay, how the if function basically works, it's composed of 3 lines. Top line always has to do with the condition. The second line has to do with what happens if that condition is true. And the third line has to do with what happens if that condition is false. For example, the condition might be, if it is sunny, that's line 1. Line 2, if that statement is true, if it is in fact sunny, McKenna goes to the beach. That's what happens. Third line would be otherwise, in other words, if that condition is false, if it's not sunny, then McKenna stays home. So let's give an example more in real life having to do with business. So what we're going to do first off is to go into cell H11 and we're going to type stock level. Next we're going to go into cell H12, have our cursor here, and we're going to set up our if statement. Now basically how it's going to work, it has to do with inventory levels. If our inventory is less than 125, in other words, the quantity in stock is less than 125, that means that we're going to have to order more goods. Otherwise, it's okay. Well, this is how it would work. We would click on the f of x, type in if, that's the function we're trying to find. It's highlighted, click OK. What we see here is that we have 3 lines. The condition, second line, if that condition is true, third line, if that condition is false, something else happens. So for the condition, we're going to click on 228, which happens to be in cell A12. So if the amount there in A12 is less than 125, that's our condition. Then we go down to line 2. So if that condition is true, the amount here, the 228, is less than 125, that means that we have to order more goods. So we're going to type in order. That's what we have to do. Otherwise, the third line means that everything is okay. We're going to leave it as it is. Condition. If that condition is true, we have to order. Otherwise, we're all set. Now we're going to hit OK. We can then go to our fill handle and copy that function all the way down to the end. We can double check, see if it works. We need to order here because that 73 is less than 125. We need to order here because this 100 is less than 125. That's for our if statement. Next we're going to look at conditional formatting. Conditional formatting will basically apply some type of format for cells, a cell or a group of cells that meet a condition. Okay, what my objective here is to look at that area having to do with stock level, and wherever there's an order or a need to order more goods, I want those cells to stand out. I want to format them so that it's a special color.